Now, apologies if this review seemed a bit rushed, but well, it was. Also, sorry that the car's not clean. This was filmed after I had driven it. Yeah. Anyway, here's our review on the 2017 VW Tiguan. Does the lack of all-wheel drive really matter? Let's find out. My name's Tom, and you're watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. Now then, specs of the mighty 2-litre diesel engine. This is in its least powerful but most efficient tune. That means you have 150 horsepower and 340 Nm of torque. That sounds pretty low for a car that weighs 1.7 tonnes, doesn't it? Let's do the 30 to 70 sprint and see if it's all show and no go. Well, it's obviously no rocket ship, but with a time of 10.07 seconds, is certainly what I'd call adequate. The lowdown torque and response really helps this thing feel a lot quicker than it actually is. Still, it is right near the bottom of our leaderboard, but at least you're quicker than a BMW 116D. Anyway, interior, this is where the Tiguan does do very well actually. There's ample storage everywhere that's also lined with felt so things don't rattle around, and I especially love the cubbyhole next to the driver and the storage in the dash. Very innovative indeed, VW. Then in terms of interior quality and ease of use, I'd say it's pretty good. Not the best, but very good for the money. The rear is great though. You get your own zone of climate control and an armrest with built-in cup holders. I do wish there was a cover for them though, as your arm tends to slide into them when not in use. Room-wise, it's also very good. You have plenty of leg and headroom, as well as a little tray table to catch some of your kids' spilt drink when you corner too quickly. Anyway, tour over, let's get this family hauler on the road, shall we? So, I know this isn't really the most exciting car to review, but it is a very nice car to drive, especially around a city like London, mainly because you've got speed bumps everywhere. This car obviously gives you a slightly higher ride height than a Golf, and the suspension's not necessarily softer, but there's just more travel, so you can just attack speed bumps rather than have to slow down for them, and it means you get to where you want to go to faster and in a little bit more comfort as well. Now, the reason I mentioned the Golf is because obviously it's a VW, but this does drive pretty much like a Golf. Certainly around town, obviously you've got the same steering wheel, same dash, pretty much the same interior, and everything feels very familiar. And because it's quite a square shape, it doesn't really feel any bigger either. The gearbox is lovely and smooth, and the powertrain is very nice, even though you've only got 150 horsepower. Obviously being a diesel, you've got all that torque, so it does feel fairly easy to drive. And it's quiet, it's smooth. Apologies if you do hear any noise. There's loads of kids stuff in the back, like baby seats and things, but that just goes to show that it is actually used as a proper family car. But yeah, steering's nice and light, and it's the typical VW thing. Not really anything to complain about, but so far nothing really that amazing. It's just very nice. One thing that I will complain about though actually is the pedal box. For some reason in the Tiguan it's quite close to you, so you have to either sit very high up or a little bit further away from the steering wheel than you usually would. In the Golf, for some reason, that's not the case, so it is a bit of a weird one. I don't quite know why they've done that, but yeah, it just makes it a bit hard to reach the pedals sometimes. You kind of have to lift your knee up, like up there, which is kind of annoying. But anyway, in terms of parking, the Tiguan it's like not the biggest car in the world. I would say it's on the larger side. You don't really want anything that's much larger than this. But in terms of parking, I mean, it's really not that hard. You've got parking sensors all round, plenty of steering angle, lock to lock is pretty much 2 turns. And yeah, getting into a space is fairly easy. And once you are in a space, can you get to the first notch? Or not quite. Almost, but not quite. So yeah, it's basically like a slightly longer Golf, if you will. Anyway, let's crack on. One thing I've noticed as well is to make the car smoother, they make it set off in second gear quite a lot of the time, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm sure that's going to wear out the clutches quicker though. But yeah, come to a junction, obviously you've got start stop. Not something I'd want to leave on in a VW produced diesel, mainly because when you do put your foot down, you end up sitting there for ages before you actually get out of the junction. But yeah, once you are going, it does get up to speed quick enough. Doesn't feel super sprightly, but it's quick enough. Anyway, let's reset our trip computer now. Apparently on the combined cycle, so combined, that means city and motorway driving, this thing will do 55 mpg, which I kind of struggle to believe. On the extra urban cycle, it says you'll do 63, which for a bigger diesel like this, I don't think so. However, this is the slightly lower powered two-wheel drive version, so we've got a little less weight, but it is the all space, so we've got 7 seats. And yeah, my prediction is it might do about 45. I don't think we're going to see 55 mpg though. Could be wrong. Anyway, before we get onto the motorway, let's go and find out how this thing handles round a roundabout. Okay then, into sports mode. Let's get the gearbox into sports, go for manual. Changes gears efficiently, I'd say. Brakes are nice. Couldn't find the button for the traction control. I'm sure it's there in the infotainment somewhere, but it's not really a car for that kind of driving, is it? It's more just to make sure it's safe. But yeah, if you plant your foot, a little bit of traction light comes in. Seems to like revving out. And there you go. Up to 70 fairly quickly. Gets the job done, you know. But yeah, it's just typical VW SUV, nothing super exciting. But it is predictable, it is safe, which is the main thing. Anyway, let's now get on the motorway and see what this thing's like. Got adaptive cruise control, which is very nice. So it should be fairly comfy. Right, coming onto the motorway in eco, if I give it half throttle, yeah, does the typical VW Audi thing. Kind of just kills the power a bit. But I mean, yeah, there you go, up to 70, not too bad. Visibility is pretty good. You get wing mirrors with a little curved bit of glass on the side, which shows you your blind spot, which is a nice thing indeed. And then once you're on the motorway, you set your adaptive cruise control to 70 miles an hour, set the distance with this button here. You want to go for the minimum, and yeah, job's done. You can just chill out from here on in. And road noise, wind noise is very low. It's a very comfortable car. Suspension is very well judged as well. It irons out all those little bumps that you get in the road, like all these lines across the road. Barely even feel them. And it doesn't tramline. It's just a very relaxing car. VW are very good at making cars that just kind of want to sit at their top speed on the motorway all day long. They're very good autobahn cruisers. And with adaptive cruise control, it just makes it even better, because you can literally just keep your hand on the steering wheel and just let the car do the rest of the work. It really is a lovely car to absolutely destroy miles in. Can it do that 55 mpg figure though? Let's find out. So not quite the 55 mpg figure we were looking for. However, I think given a long enough journey, you might get about 50, driving at exactly 60 miles an hour on a perfectly flat bit of road. I think realistically though, you're gonna see about 45 mpg out of this thing, maximum, which I think is still a fairly good figure realistically. You know, you can see 5 adults in this thing, or 5 adults and 2 very small kids, which is pretty good, really. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really be complaining about that. Thing is, though, is it compromising on performance so much so that you'd want to go for the slightly more powerful 190 horsepower engine? Let's get to a B road now and find out. Well, our usual road has a bit of a problem on it. So we're going to go to a different B road, I think. Okay then, let's start with the little B road then. Managed to get traction off. Bit of wheel spin. Back in sports, in manual of course. And once you take control of the gears yourself, it actually feels fairly pokey, especially in the mid-range. It feels definitely quick enough for a family hauler. And the suspension, coming over bumps, feels absolutely fine. Really nothing to complain about at all. And I suppose the good thing is you still have fairly good economy even when you're ragging the car around quite a bit. But it's one of those diesels you can't really rely on the very low down torque. You do have to get above 2,000 revs to really get any power out of this thing. But once you are, it's fine. Okay, can we hit 60 before the corner? Let's go. Wheel spin. Come on, Tiguan. That's 50. Oh no, not quite. We hit 55. Called it at 55. That's not a bad effort though. And to be fair, even though it is diesel, it does like to rev out. Doesn't really feel like the power dies down. Just over 4,000. Yeah, really not that bad at all. Look at that. Yeah, handling is very good. It's basically just like a Golf. Obviously you do feel that you're slightly higher up, but it's nothing really to worry about. The thing is, even though it's front wheel drive, the only time you notice it is in first gear, really. Look at that. Is it confidence inspiring? I'd say... I mean, it doesn't scare you, but it's not like, oh, I know exactly where the front end is at all times. But it's not bad, not bad at all. Yeah, so at about 4,500 revs is where it dies, but that's pretty good for a 2-litre diesel. You'll certainly get the kids to school on time in this thing. And the gearbox, these DSG gearboxes are really good. I 100% rate them. I think they're brilliant. It just enables you to use all the power the engine has. So even if you have an engine that's not particularly sprightly, like this one, you can exploit every single one of those ponies under the bonnet. And for coming out of junctions like that, I think it's brilliant. As long as you've got start-stop off. that's the only thing that you really don't want to have on in this thing. I can demonstrate how good it is out of junction here, actually. So this is a notoriously bad roundabout because there's a lot of traffic, but just plant your foot and you're off. Very little drama for a front-wheel drive car. Anyway, I think we should wrap the video up there, really. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please give it a like and why not subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale, which I think includes this VW Tiguan. It's currently being used as a family shuttle for the boss, but I do think he's planning on selling it at some point. Anyway, my name's Tom, and you've been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.